moving right along, I want to welcome the JVB coach. Already talked about her, but I'm just so thankful that she decided to be a part of this program. She needs no introduction. Please welcome Coach Tori Hawkins.
I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet. You guys know I love to talk. All of those post-game talks, parents, you probably know too. But as I call you guys' name, I would like you to come up and stand next to me. Okay, I'm asking a lot of you, I know. But I wrote down some words that I want to share with everybody about you guys. Make sure I give everybody their spotlight, okay? And I've got some awards at the very end, okay? So I'm going to start with Brianna. So Brianna was one of the girls on the team. She brought a light to this team, to say the least. She wasn't at practice or a game, you could definitely tell. The whole atmosphere was totally different. And she kept the peace amongst the team. If I couldn't keep them all in check, Brianna was there. I could rely on Brianna and be like, hey, stop messing around. I'm like, thank you, Brianna, thank you, okay? But she also had this very competitive nature, and during our games or our practices, she would put her mind to whatever it was, whether that was playing great defense or making the best post move that she could make, getting that next rebound, and nobody could stop her. If she keeps that mentality up, I know you're going to go far. I know you're going to be a great ball player, and I hope I get to be in the stands watching you, okay? So thank you, Brianna, for a great season. After I'm done talking, you guys can go sit. It's okay. Next, Angelina. So, Angelina. This one here, she knew how to dish out some sass, to say the least, okay? She would catch me slipping and be like, Coach, I'm just going to say, you didn't say that right, or you just told us to do this, and you actually want us to do this, or that play is actually not run this way. I'm like, okay, Angelina, fine. Okay, thank you. But she was, it wasn't until like maybe the second week of practices, and she's in my ear every single day. Coach, let me shoot threes. Coach, I can do it. I'm like, not until you get better at shooting mid-range jumpers. You know, that's where I want you to be. I want you to knock those down. And she's like, but I can shoot threes. Like, watch me in practice. I can shoot them. And I'm like, okay, Angelina. I turned my back for a sec. She's like, I made it. You didn't see it. I'm like, make it again. It wasn't until probably the last month or so, and she was making them pretty consistently. So I gave her the green light. I was like, listen, you got the pass. Go ahead and shoot threes in a game. And it was our very last game. And people didn't want to step out on the three-point line. I was like, take it if they don't want to step out. She was knocking them down left and right. And that was a very proud coaching moment for me because she worked towards that goal. And that was something that I was like, you actually did it. You weren't kidding. You wanted to shoot threes. And she did it. And that's something that I think she's going to hold with her. The rest of the girls, I don't think anyone else got the pass on the team to shoot threes. Maybe Ashley towards the very end, okay? But, you know, Angelina, I want to thank you for a good season, and you will forever be the best three-point shooter on this team. Gabby. Gabby S. How's the ankle? So Gabby started off the season, she was one of my point guards, and she had this drive that came to her naturally. I could tell that she was an athlete. I could tell she's played multiple sports. And it was really nice to know because I could just tell that she got it. I didn't have to ask her, go all out on this play. I didn't have to ask her, you know, that girl gets past you, you better be doing everything you can to catch up to her. And she just improved in so many different aspects of her game. She never stopped pushing herself to get better, but unfortunately, her season was cut short due to an injury. And I know it killed her to be on the sidelines watching us, but It did not stop her, to say the least. She was crutching around every practice. I was telling her to sit down. She was like, no, coach, can you bring up a chair? I'll just sit here while you guys talk. And I was like, fine, Gabby. But she was still learning, and that was the thing that I couldn't ask anything else of her. Her basketball IQ was still improving as she was injured, and watching the rest of the girls, she would be giving out pointers to the girls, and I'd be like, wow, okay, like you're still listening. You're like my little coach, my assistant coach here. So, you know, I know she's got a lot of potential. She's going to do great things next year as long as you stay off of the floor, and it'll be good. But I'm really excited to see what you can do next year, okay? Thank you. Let's go, Rachel. So Rachel was probably my most versatile player, almost like a glorified small forward, if you want to say. She was constantly being thrown around, playing almost, not thrown around on the court, but playing every position except for point, and she never said no or hesitated to step up if she was needed. She was also another player who unfortunately dealt with some injuries along the season, but the thing that was very nice to see is that she came back stronger than ever after every single injury, whether it was the concussion, and she just waited for that all clear. And then when it was the knee, the knee, and the nail, that was one. The ankle, she had so many, but it never stopped her. Once she got the all clear from Megan or her doctor, she was coming back and she was ready to go. She was like, Coach, I can go in. I'm like, you sure you don't want to like ease into it? She's like, no, I got it. I can go in. I'm like, okay. But that's something you love to see from your players, and I can't thank you enough for just going with the flow this season. So thank you. Let's go, Delano. So Delano was Queen Feisty, as I like to call her. If someone came at her during a game, I was always on the sideline telling her to just breathe, because it was either going to be a technical called on her, or it was going to be a foul that she was about to commit. But she was our best free throw shooter. I had to go back and I looked at our stats. By far, she was our best free throw shooter, and she worked really hard during the season to take that title, so I'm really proud of her there. But I swear, in another life, she must have been a post. She had to have been a post, because she had this NBA, like, very aggressive swat that she would do right on a breakaway layup. If the girl was going for a breakaway layup, somehow she caught up to him, and she was just hacking at him. And every time she gets a foul called on her, she turns around, Coach, I didn't foul him. Like, you cannot do that. Like, you're going to get a call every single time. If you swat, if you jump, you're going to get called. And she would just sometimes do it, just depending on the day or how many fouls she was able to give off, but occasionally she would do it. And although you had your fouls, that's for sure, you had a heck of a season, and I'm really proud of you for leading us in free throws, so thank you. All right, next, I believe we have Mori. So Mori was one of our posts this year, and she did a great job leading the team in rebounds. She had to find her groove though, and it had to be on her own time. I would yell at her, I would keep saying, Mori, just hustle, and she'd look at me and, yeah, okay. And then I was like, Mori, I thought we had to talk about this. She's like, okay, yeah. And I'm like, all right. But when I wasn't saying anything, she was going off in every single game. If that was rebounds, if that was intercepting passes, she was doing it all. Now, there was a period in our season where we were faced with some obstacles, whether that was snow days, people having to quarantine, or injuries. And we had a Monday game, no practices over the weekend. I'm walking into the gym that day, and all of them are coming running at me, Coach, Coach. And I'm like, what? And they're talking at me in this hysterical manner. They're like, we don't have a point guard. I was like, what? They're like, Ashley's out, Gabby's hurt, we don't have a point guard. I was like, okay, don't panic, don't let them see you panic, it's okay. And I was just like, Mori, come on, let's step up. And she was not happy with me at first. She wasn't, and the girls can attest to that. But she ended up leading us in one of the best games we've ever played this season. And it was phenomenal to see her step up, and also from day one, you had grown so much. And that's why in my head, I was like, Mori can do it. I'm gonna put Mori up on the plate, she's gonna go, and we're gonna see what she can do. Ended up after saying she was better than our normal point guards. And I was like, listen, all right, don't go that far, you're going back to post, but because of that, I am going to award Mori the Most Improved Player Award for this season. All right. Next, I've got Ashley. So Ashley was our main point guard for the season. She had the mind of a basketball player, and she was able to pick up on things very quickly and implement them in her game. When we would practice, or when I would practice with the girls, for some reason Ashley thought she could guard me. And I let her, and I came to find out real quick that she actually could. And I was like, okay, all right. But I was noticing that practice Ashley was way different than game Ashley. So I had to pull her aside, and I was like, listen, you've got to do this in the game. You've got to step up in the game. You're the point guard. You're the captain. You're leading this. And she was like, okay. It took a minute, but then after that next game, it was day and night. She had turned into this player who was creating plays. She was directing the plays. She was hitting her teammates on things that weren't even part of the plays. And that's a very huge thing that stands out to me, especially for a JVB team, because a lot of these girls had never played before this year. So for Ashley to turn into this player who was reading between the black and the white, it was really, really awesome to see. So Ashley, you will be receiving the Most Valuable Player Award tonight. Oh, last but not least, Gigi. Gabby. So Gabby, also known as Gabby, also known as Gigi, she did some things that we had to hone in on over the season, and she worked on them. She definitely did, and it was clear that she did get better as the season went on, and she got more playing time, and she worked for that playing time during practices. But there was one game in particular that just is going to stick with me for the rest of my life for sure. And we were very determined as a team to get Gabby a shot, okay? I think it was against Port Huron Northern, yeah? And we're passing around, the clock is literally counting down by the second. And we're like, we've got to get her a shot. We've been working on it. It was the whole quarter that we were basically trying to get her a shot. And we fed it to her. She finally gets it. She turns without traveling. That was great. I was so proud of you. And she turns, throws it up. It's like a ring around the rosy. And finally, right as it goes in, the buzzer sounds. I kid you not, we were cheering like we just won the game. And if you guys have been to our games, sometimes the point difference is a little much, a little bit. But we didn't stop. As a team, the girls, they said, we're going to get her a shot. We don't care how bad the deficit is. We're going to get her a shot. We got her that shot, and the other team is looking at us so backwards. They're like, is the score wrong, or what's going on? And I'm like, you know what? And it was just a very wholesome moment that's going to stick with me. For Gigi, it's going to stick with me for these girls, because they put it down and they got it done. And that's how it went. But Gigi also, she was the most cheerful person on the team. No matter what kind of day she had, she was constantly keeping the team in good spirits at practices or during games. She was keeping me in good spirits, making me laugh when I wanted to be mad at them, and you could clearly see that she cared a lot about our season. She cared a lot about the team as a whole, including me, even our opponents, lending them a hand. If she was the one who knocked them down, she was definitely lending them a hand. If somebody else knocked him down, she was lending him a hand up. And she's just a selfless and compassionate individual. And because of that, I will be awarding her the Titan Award. That award is something that showcases one's commitment among many other great character traits that a player exemplifies, and I believe that was Gabby. So all in all, girls, it was not the season that we were hoping for, wasn't the season that we intended on, but all of you got better from day one, and as a coach, I'm okay with that. That is just as good as having an undefeated season in my book, because when you step foot in the gym, all I asked was that you left a better player, a better person than when you walked in. And that's exactly what happened. So I can't thank you enough, parents. I cannot thank you enough. I know some of the practices were super late, and they're freshmen. I get it. Some of the sophomores, I get it. But you guys got them there. You picked them up. Got them to games if we needed to, so I really appreciate you guys, coaching staff, even the JVA girls coming down. Rick, thank you for letting me have some of them when I was having those injury problems and code, whatever else. Al, you came and taught us the offense. It worked for a little bit. You had to tackle it. And John, you were on the bench too, so I appreciate it. Vance, whenever you could be there, you were there, so I appreciate it. So thank you very much, everybody.
Can we give Coach Tori and JVB one more hand?